Hello everyone, my name is Moses and today I'll be showing you a quick tutorial of how I use erasers to create whiskers and fur on a big cat. Now I'm working on a leopard today. Leopard, whatever you call it, it's a big cat. I love to draw wild animals and yeah, I hope you learned something from this quick tutorial. About 10 minutes long. Alright. Alright. Here, the little pen-like thing I'm holding is called a tombow mono zero eraser. It's beautiful because it looks like a pen or a pencil, but instead of having a pencil like a lead on the tip of it, it has an eraser on the tip of it. So you can handle it like a pencil and create strokes that way. Now I have a habit of always rolling my pens or pencils in my hand. I don't know why that is, but yeah, you gotta start doing the same thing apparently. But yeah, I'm using the pencil eraser, tombow mono zero eraser. An eraser that looks and feels like a pencil, but on the tip of it, it has eraser there. Small kind, so you can use that for whiskers and fur and all that. As you can see, I'm using it on the ears over there. So the way I did that is I put a mid-tone. The part of the paper that is very dark, I use lots of pressure on my charcoal. The part of it that isn't very dark, I call that a mid-tone. On that mid-tone now, I'm using the pencil eraser, to scratch marks, scratch things off. I'm gradually erasing part of the pastels that I used to create these whiskers and hairs in the ear of the cat. I go to the second ear right now. I'm using the pencil again, the pencil eraser, to do the same thing over there. Now, the part that is very dark in between, in the middle of the ear over there, is harder to erase with a tombow mono zero eraser. So what I'm gonna do is come back eventually with a different kind of eraser. You'll see when we get there. But for now, I'm just making marks and drawing lines in the direction that I look at my reference picture, in the direction of where the hair is going. I try to replicate that to draw what I see. Eventually, I'll come back and refine it. But now this is the second eraser that I was talking about earlier. This eraser is called an electric eraser. Now it's like a bigger, fatter pencil or pen. At the tip of it is an eraser, but on the side of it, it has a little button you can push. When you push the button, the eraser starts to spin like a drill, and you can use that and go in the direction of the fur, direction of the hairs. It makes a lighter mark in comparison to the tombow mono zero eraser. With the tombow mono zero eraser, you're using your pressure of your elbow on your shoulders. But with this one, because of the constant friction of the rotation, because it's electric, it does a better job at cleaning off charcoal, pastels, or graphite. Now I come back to my tombow mono zero eraser, and I'm erasing the edges of the ear. Because in my reference picture, the edges of the ear are a little lighter. So I start with the mid-tone, so I can erase some part of it off, or I can add some charcoal to it to make it darker. In this case, I'm erasing some part of it off. Now I'm using my pastels. That is a pastel applicator with a foam tip on it. So you take that, you dip it in pan pastels, black pan pastels, and now I'm using that to refine the edges of the ear. So this whole thing is a mixture of charcoal and pan pastels. Eventually I'm going to use some white charcoal to clean up those hairs a little more, to make them stand out, because we have white charcoal, we have black charcoal, obviously, and then we have vine charcoal and compressed charcoal. Now vine charcoal gives you it's easier to erase, but compressed charcoal is harder to erase and it's darker than vine charcoal. So in this work I'm using compressed charcoal and pan pastels. The midtones are done with pan pastels. The darks, the very black part of this, like the stripes and the marks on the body of the leopard, was done with compressed charcoal. Now I'm back to my tombow zero eraser. I'm getting some hairs on the face around the eye of the leopard, and I'm back again with the electric eraser, just cleaning up and trying to make it stand out over there, the hairs on the ear. Because the more detail you can add to it, the better it will look. The more time you spend on it, the more realistic it'll feel when you're done with it. Now I'm going to the whiskers. I already know that because of how dark the side of the face is, the body by the face over there, because of how dark it is easier to just go in with my electric eraser instead of my tombow zero eraser. So I'm using that here to pull out the whiskers in the direction that I see on my reference photo. Now you don't want to copy your reference photo exactly, but you want to be in the ballpark, relatively close to what you're seeing. The goal of drawing is to draw what you see. Now we see things differently. That's why art is different for everybody who makes it. But with whiskers, you don't want to draw them in the same. You don't want to draw them in the same direction. Else it won't look realistic. There's a bit of randomness about the universe, so you want to be as random as possible, and it'll look beautiful at the end of it. Everybody can draw, especially black and white drawing. It's not very hard at all. Start with the middle tone, like on the face over there. Use an eraser, pull out the lighter tones. If you need to add some darkness to it, use a dark charcoal pencil, or like from an 8B to a 14B graphite pencil, and add the darkness to it. When you do black and white drawings, all you have to worry about is light and shadow, light and dark. If you render this properly, your drawings will look realistic. So this whole thing right here, somebody have asked me, how are you able to pull out the details on whiskers and fur and stuff like that? This is how I do it. On my realistic portraits of human beings, when you do the pose, this is how I do it. I just use a tombow zero eraser and I make little circles for the pores. I use my pencil to refine them. So now you can see these whiskers are coming alive, and the leopard is beginning to look more like it's supposed to look. So that's how I do it. And eventually I'm gonna go back in and refine it with a white charcoal pencil. Use my electric eraser and go over it even more. Art takes a long time to create. So if you don't have the time to put in, go do some abstract or something, but realism takes a lot of time. Well, I really appreciate you watching this. I'm coming to the end of it, and I will make more in future. Stay tuned to learn how to create art like this.